Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. As nature would have it, baseball is king of the jungle. They called him the animal because he appeared to be savage. In fact, even some of his own teammates thought he should have been kept behind bars. The Tigers were lame and tame early on, but their big beast came back to join the hunt, so they're starting to roar and stalking the pack. When a ferocious pitch proved mighty cagey for the cat, other sharpshooters followed in his tracks to take the bite out of opposing batters. They were underdogs with a knack for turning predators into prey. Another example of survival of the fittest. So stand by as we move in for the kill, y'all. Right here on This Week in Baseball. Celebrating our 10th anniversary.
Happy 10th anniversary This Week in Baseball. Thank you for all the thrills that you provided for myself and all those fans throughout America.
National League Spotlight. In Houston, the Astros blast off. Fresh off the All-Star game, the Astrodome next played host to the mighty Mets, and the Astros were left on the launch pad in Game 1 as New York exploded for 13 runs. Shortstop Craig Reynolds pitched the 9th inning just for fun, something he hadn't done since high school, and he gave up 3 runs. But in Game 2, New York was kicked around and dropped hard by Bob Knepper, who struck out 9 and walked only 1, tossing a 3-hit shutout that raised his record to 11-7. It was the first time the Mets had been shut out in 111 games, dating back to last September. Next day, Astro fans were up in arms over Mike Scott, who went into the 9th inning with a 4-0 lead. But the Mets scored 2 runs to knock out Scott before Darryl Strawberry came to bat with 1 on. And there it goes. Home run number 14 for Strawman to tie the game at the expense of Dave Smith. But Houston came right back in the last of the 9th. Craig Reynolds batting with 2 out.
Oh, watch it. Look out. Watch it. It's gone. Home run. Oh, baby. What a comeback.
The finale was a real barn burner, with both teams feeling mighty hot under the collar. Rookie reserve catcher Ed Hearn capped off another dramatic rally for the Mets by driving home the last of 3 9th inning runs that tied the game at 8. Nothing changed for the next 5 innings, except that Frank DiPino was traded to the Cubs even as he pitched. Finally, Houston had to call on Bob Knepper to pitch the 15th inning, although he'd gone the distance just 2 days earlier. But he ended up getting his 2nd win in 3 days after the Astros loaded the bases for Kevin Bass in the bottom of the inning.
And a ground ball to Hernandez, who's going to come home, and they get him. No! They had him at home!
No, they didn't, and the Astros had 3 out of 4 wins. They kept on rolling with Nolan in their next series against Montreal. Ryan went 9 1/3 innings, allowing only 1 hit. He struck out 14, a league high for 1 game this season. But Ryan did not get the win because Houston couldn't score either, until the last of the 10th, that is, when Glenn Davis delivered home run number 21 to tie for the league lead. Houston went on to sweep the Expos and overall won 5 straight games on their final at-bat. The Wild West. Last year, Los Angeles was king, but this year, who knows? Less than 9 games separate first from last, and every team still has a shot.
We're in a good division, a tough division. Most of the clubs are evenly balanced.
The division is going to go right down to September because of the balance in the division. And I think if you ask Tommy Lasorda, he feels he's still got a great shot of winning it.
They are working awful hard. They realize there's only one route to success, and that is through the avenue of hard work.
I think Chuck Tanner probably thinks he does.
In our division, anybody can win it, and we're one of the anybody's.
Fortunately for us, no one in the West has really run away and hide like the Mets seem to be trying to do in the East.
I think the main thing that you have to do, you just can't be intimidated when you go into Dodger Stadium or anytime you play the Dodgers.
So all in all, I am very, very optimistic. I am very enthused.
This is such a gifted club. We've got outstanding talent on this team. It's been through a pennant race and won a division championship.
Overall, I've been very satisfied. I've been very proud of the way these guys have played so far.
I just have one thing to say to Tom Lasorda. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
Now on to Cincinnati, where the Reds remained on the rise. Cincinnati began the year by losing 19 of its first 25, but since then, the resurgent Reds have played the best ball in the division.
We have a 6-6 game in the 11th. In the air to deep right field. He can't hang on, and the Reds are going to win the game.
Base hit right field. Glenn Wilson rounding third. Parker's throw to the plate. Wilson is out at home plate to end the game.
35-year-old Dave Parker has been doing it all for the Reds, with his arm in the field, with his bat at the plate. His average is near 290, and he's tied for the league lead in home runs with 21 and near the top in RBIs with 66.
The great thing about the Cincinnati Ball Club, we have achieved some major leaps and bounds, and basically just with a change of attitude. We didn't change a lot of personnel, and it kind of creates a family-type atmosphere. This is a pretty closely knit ball club, something similar to the one that I played with in '79 in Pittsburgh. So, you know, these guys are loose, and they believe, and they know they can kind of depend on the other fellow to pick an individual up if he's had a bad day, or pick an individual up if he goes to the plate and he's not successful. He kind of looks to his teammate to pick him up, and that atmosphere is over here with this ball club.
Another red-hot Red has been second-year pitcher Tom Browning, League Rookie Pitcher of the Year in '85 with 20 wins. Browning started the season 0-4, but he's now 8-7. Cincinnati fortunes turned around, however, when the Mets came to town. After losing the opener, the Reds were winning the next night 3-1, 2 outs in the ninth, when Dave Parker's error allowed the tying runs to score. Tempers flared in extra innings, and the Mets riled up the Reds in relief, using both left-hander Jesse Orosco and righty Roger McDowell at the same time, one on the mound and one in the outfield, switching them back and forth to send Pete Rose to the rule book. Legal but risky. Orosco was forced to make a play in right field, but he came through, much to the Reds' dismay. Finally, with both benches almost depleted, Howard Johnson came to bat with 2 men on in the top of the 14th, and Hojo blasted a 3-run homer to win one of the wildest games of the year. Now, let's open the notebook for This Week in Baseball's Twib Notes from around the National League. Ken Griffey has been one hot Brave since his trade to Atlanta. Base hits in all but 3 of his first 20 games. A batting average above 290, and against Philadelphia, 3 home runs in 1 game. The St. Louis Cardinals are known for speed under manager Whitey Herzog, but the running Redbirds came to a screeching halt against Los Angeles. First series in 4 years in which the Cards failed to steal at least 1 base. Now this week's quiz, brought to you by Nissan. Test drive the all-new Nissan truck hard bodies at your Nissan Datsun dealer now. 24-year-old Eric Davis has helped revitalize the Reds. In a recent stretch of 41 at-bats, Davis hit .390. Yet during that same stretch, he also struck out 16 times. Now for this week's quiz, can you name the player who set the Major League record for most strikeouts in the season? Stay tuned for a giant swinger. American League. In Detroit, the Tigers sound off with a roar. Manager Sparky Anderson suffered a major setback just 2 weeks into the season when Kirk Gibson went down with a severe ankle sprain. He came back in early June and started slowly, but in the last month, Gibby's been great with an average above 280, 8 homers, and 25 RBIs. He helped the Tigers claw back above 500 with a 4-game sweep of Texas, and he set a Major League record with 5 straight game-winning hits.
Well hit to right center, way back, it's gone! On 0-2, the Tigers win.
I know that I'm a better hitter with people on base and people in scoring position. I wish it wasn't that way, really. I wish I was a great hitter at all times.
In the pitching department, Jack Morris has been superb. The Cat struck out 11 and gave up only 2 hits against the Rangers for 1 of his 11 wins. But more significantly, it was his 3rd straight shutout, and he compiled 31 consecutive scoreless innings overall. Mickey Lolich was the last Tiger pitcher to throw 3 straight shutouts. He did it in 1967. Dodger Hall of Famer Don Drysdale set the Major League record for consecutive scoreless innings in 1968 with 58. Rookie Eric King isn't threatening any records, but he's been a threat to opposing hitters, beating Texas for his first career shutout to go 6-2, as the Tigers threaten to get back in the Eastern Division race. Next stop, Seattle, where the Red Sox were hung out to dry. The Mariners got back on track after the All-Star break, derailing Boston in a 4-game series. Mark Langston was like a locomotive in the opener, steamrolling the Red Sox with 11 strikeouts in 10 innings. But he didn't get the win because the score stayed tied at 1 until the last of the 11th, when Seattle fans focused on Jim Presley with 2 out and the bases loaded.
Swung on, well hit ball deep to left field. Goodbye baseball. A grand slam home run. Wow, what a night for Jimmy Presley and the Mariners.
In Game 2, the Red Sox fared no better because Danny Tartabull was bullish with a home run and 3 RBIs. Overall, the 23-year-old rookie was batting above .290 with 15 homers and 57 RBIs. You know, Danny's father, Jose, hit just 2 homers and drove in 107 runs in 9 big league seasons. Things were looking up for Boston in Game 3 because Roger Clemens was looking sharp, striking out 8 to increase his Major League leading total to 154 and improving his record to 16-2. Seattle saw trouble in the finale because Don Baylor had a personal milestone in his sights. Going, that ball is gone. Career home run number 300 for 37-year-old Baylor. But the Mariners were counting on a comeback, and they got it with help from Scott Bradley, who belted a pinch hit homer and went on to collect 5 RBIs as Seattle took 3 out of 4. And suddenly, the Eastern Division leading Red Sox appeared vulnerable, especially after losing 3 straight to Oakland in their next series. Now, let's straighten out the answer to this week's Nissan quiz. Bobby Bonds is now the batting coach for Cleveland, but as a player for San Francisco in 1970, he struck out 189 times to set the big league single-season record, and yet he still batted a career-high 302 that year. By the way, Bonds is 4th in all-time career strikeouts with 1,757. And now, fans, let's get on the ball with the pitch of the 80s, the split-fingered fastball. Since the beginning of baseball, pitchers have tried to come up with new weapons to baffle batters. The screwball, made famous by Hall of Famer Carl Hubble, looks like it's coming in, but instead fades away, while the knuckleball flutters every which way, so nobody knows where it's going. The spitter, well, it's no longer legal, but some pitchers are still suspected of doctoring the ball. Fact is, they'll try anything to get a batter out.
Steve Hamilton pitching it. Oh, there's the volley floater, and it's balled back. And listen to the crowd. And Hamilton gives the sign. He says, all right, maybe I'll do it again. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Look at it. And he fouls it again. And Munson makes the catch. Holy cow, what a play by third
The split-fingered fastball is the newest pitch bringing batters to their knees, and Bruce Sutter helped make it popular.
The best I've ever seen was Suter's when he was with the Cubs. I think it was sharper then. Now it's, you know, what I've seen, I don't get to hit off him that much, but it's more of a consistent right-hander screwball. But in Chicago, he threw it hard and it broke straight down. I think that's the best one I've seen so far. And Jack Morris has one of the better, most consistent ones that I've seen. But there's a lot of people trying to throw it now. I think it's worth a try. If it doesn't work, you go back to your other pitches.
Giant skipper Roger Craig is the game's split-finger guru, thanks mostly to the success of Detroit's pitching staff in '84 when the Tigers won it all, with Craig as their pitching coach.
The key to it is to throw it like a fastball. And the pitch comes in, if you throw a fastball 90 miles an hour, the pitch will come anywhere from 80 to 65 miles an hour. It goes down right in the hitting zone. It looks good to hit. It's almost like a hard sinker or a spitball, because the ball just comes in and goes straight down. And I teach my pitchers to use it when they're ahead. Like most coaches teach their players to throw a changeup when you're behind, when they're looking for a fastball. But I like for them to get ahead first and then throw the split finger, because if the hitters are not as selective and they'll swing at a lot of bad pitches, you'll see a lot of people swinging this pitch down in the dirt most of the time when you're ahead of them, because they can't be as selective and they're more aggressive. And this is the way I train them. I have them throw it this way, then on the next pitch they just spread their fingers about 1/8 of an inch, and they keep working down gradually so they get a feel of the ball as they release the ball. Now as they get down, depends on each individual, get down about this far on the ball, keeping the ball out as far on their fingers as they possibly can. And the key to it is to think fastball and throw it as hard as you can, your fastball. Don't try to make it do anything. Manipulate your thumb a little bit on the side here and put a little pressure here and keeping the ball out and throwing it like a fastball.
Houston's Mike Scott is Craig's top student, a career mark of 29 and 44 before learning the pitch. Then 18 and 8 last year. And this season, he leads the league in strikeouts.
I went out to San Diego, and Roger Craig was down there, and I was there for 10 days. And we went out and worked out about 7 out of the 10 days, and my arm wasn't really in shape, but he told me basically how to hold the pitch and what to think about when I threw it, and arm position and my hand position on the ball. And I got to spring training, and the club told me to go ahead and throw it as much as I wanted to, you know, the first couple of games till I got a feel for it. And after about 3 or 4 games, it really came around, and it turned out to be my second best pitch. My fastball, I've always had a decent fastball, but you just can't get by in this league with one pitch, one speed. And I think throwing that pitch, the more I throw it, the better I've gotten with it. And I think that's a big reason my strikeouts have been up.
Scott's not the only one. Fact is, in the last 2 years, plenty of pitchers have added the split-fingered fastball to their arsenal.
During the World Series, when Jack Morris was pitching, I think a lot of people noticed that it was a pretty good pitch, and they'd try it. And I learned it just because I couldn't throw a very good slider, and I couldn't throw a very good curve, and I had to learn another pitch. And that's the only other one I could think of, so that's why I tried it. But I think after the World Series, I think a couple more people tried to learn it. And Sutter, I guess, has been pitching for a long time. And I remember back then, I said, well, heck, that's one of the best pitches I've ever seen. I don't know why more people don't try to throw it. And I think you have to have the right size hand, or else everybody would be throwing it.
Roger Craig has said that all it takes is the ability to have long fingers to throw the split-finger fastball. Well, the end result is I have small fingers. So Al Jackson taught me to pitch. He has small fingers also. And mine is different than the Roger Craig or the Jack Morris or all those guys who throw it, because they have such large hands, they can control the ball almost like a fastball and throw it a lot harder. Since I have such small hands, the ball is more of a changeup for me.
I always had a breaking ball, 2 types of breaking ball, a slider and a curveball, so I was a little reluctant to using it. And I didn't really put it into my repertoire until last year. And the difference was drastic. I think in 1984, I think I had maybe 30, 35 more hits than innings pitched. And last year I was about that same figure under innings pitched. It doesn't back you into a hole. You always have an out, so to speak. You never feel like you have to give in to a hitter. It's definitely the pitch of the 80s.
Now it's This Week in Baseball's 10th anniversary flashback, brought to you by Gatorade. Let's flash back to 1982. They called him the Animal, and with good reason. Because when Brad Leslie took the mound for Cincinnati, he turned the ball field into a zoo. For 3 seasons with the Reds, beginning in '82, Leslie was a lunatic.
If you've ever seen me pitch, I'm definitely an animal on the mound. They call, they gave it to me my size, my appetite, and all that. But it's the bottom line is the way I pitch and yell and scream and have a good time out there. I just tune myself out on life. Go out there and do it up.
He's really a good guy, and off the field, he's pretty much so calm. but on that mound, he's just the toughest guy I ever saw in my life.
Well, he's different. In fact, he's probably one of the strangest people I've seen.
He ate like an animal. He slept like an animal. He pitched like an animal. You know, he was a scary type person out on the mound.
We had an experience in New York where I caught the last out, and, you know, like I went up to him to shake his hand, and all of a sudden he just took his glove and I just ducked in time. He slapped it. In fact, it nicked me right here, but I thought he was going to kill somebody that day.
Since that day, I never wanted to go shake his hand after a game. I go over there and slap him on the back.
They love me in Cincinnati, and they hate me on the road. They yell vulgar things about my mother and throw stuff at me. It's great.
Sorry, Mrs. Leslie, but Brad does seem like the kind of son only a mother could love. Ah, well, that's all for now, folks, but see you next week on This Week in Baseball.
The Cleveland Indians take on the Texas Rangers live from Arlington Stadium tonight at 9, right here on WUAB. The Herb Scores Sports Show is next on Channel 43.